Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to a Navy SEAL robbing 5 banks in 1 month. Now, I mean, to rob one bank is difficult enough, but to rob 5, in my mind, that would be impossible. But I guess if anyone can do it, it'd be a Navy SEAL. It would be a Special Forces soldier, because, you know, these guys and ladies, I believe ladies are able to become Special Forces soldiers. They are like the best of the best. You know, these guys are trained extensively, so I'm sure he probably put some of that to good use. I'm eager to understand how he did it though, because still robbing 5 banks with the amount of security they have now, very difficult. So yeah, let's do it.
Friday, December 22nd, 2017. A former Navy SEAL who had just settled down in the quiet suburbs of Austin, Texas, quickly found himself moonlighting as a bank robber over a period of 1 month, single-handedly taking down 5 banks in broad daylight, even hitting the same banks twice, absolutely perplexing authorities.
Police are investigating 2 bank robberies in the last 8 hours, including
And after shaking up the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force and local authorities alike, one detective would inevitably come face to face with the operator after one final score.
Unbelievable. Why? I mean, surely he got a good military pension from his career. Was it just for the thrill of it? Probably just for the thrill of it.
In 1982, a young enlisted sailor by the name of Thomas Mixon attended the Navy's 6-month-long Navy SEAL selection course, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training, most commonly referred to by its acronym BUDS, and arguably one of the most difficult special operations selection courses the world has ever seen, with an attrition rate of nearly 75%.
You don't start making up your own rules around here, Casey. That's it. Minor adjustments. You don't
Hellish.
belong here, sir.
Absolutely.
And after
hellish.
completing BUDS and SEAL qualification training, Mixon earned his coveted trident and was assigned to SEAL Team 5, a West Coast team based out of Coronado, California, where he deployed 3 times with Delta Platoon. His duties included weapons and ordnance maintenance, long short-range land navigation, instruction in hostage rescue training, as well as close-quarter combat and lots of bar fights in PB. And after serving 4 years with SEAL Team
Really? Is that true? He actually got in a lot of bar fights. To be honest, he probably did.
5, Mixon joined a highly classified small operational team in 1990 known as Red Cell.
A group of American commandos carried out dozens of terrorist attacks worldwide. They penetrated military bases, kidnapped government personnel, and raided weapons storage sites.
The original Red Cell was a 14-man team composed of 13 members of SEAL Team 6 and 1 Force Recon Marine. The unit was organized to attempt to infiltrate and otherwise test the security of U.S. military bases and other installations. They would frequently use false IDs, dismantle fences, barricade buildings, and even kidnap high-ranking personnel. Additionally, Red Cell planted bombs near Air Force One, snuck into submarine bases, and took them over. And amongst the team was Thomas Mixon. And realizing the potential and value of his skill set outside of the teams, Mixon left Red Cell and the Navy altogether in 1990 to turn those skills into some real money through private executive security and his clients, the Royal Saudi family. Although not much is known about his specific role, it doesn't take a historian to figure it out. As in that same year, Mixon was providing security for the Saudis, an armed campaign waged by a United States-led coalition of 35 countries against Iraq was launched in response.
How much do you reckon he was getting paid for that work for the Saudis? It had to be a lot, right? A lot. Like sort of 5 figures a week type thing. Yeah, must have been a crazy amount.
To the Iraqi invasion and annexation of Kuwait, better known as Desert Storm. And it only took Mixon 1 year to quit, as he moved to Austin, Texas, looking for change.
Still, he probably made a good chunk of change in that year.
Mixon settled down and attended the University of Austin while launching his own business as a personal trainer called Fit Frog Personal Training, and marketed the program as a Navy SEAL style conditioning course. But somewhere in between semesters in personal training, Mixon would take on more security and consulting gigs overseas, off and on, from 2004 through 2007, quite possibly earning $20,000 to $30,000 a month while deployed. And when he wasn't deployed, he was stateside chipping away at his bachelor's in kinesiology. And shortly after obtaining his degree, Mixon quickly made a name for himself as a personal trainer in the Austin area, where he was even featured in a 2007 issue of Austin Fit magazine, absolutely catapulting his business. And he'd make a name for himself once again 10 years later.
The guy has a good work ethic. He really put himself into a lot of things, trying to, increase his earning power. Yeah, it's a good trait, admirable trait.
But this time, as a professional bank robber. His motives behind the decision remain unclear, but one look at his resume would tell you he's more than likely the kind of guy that would get away with it. And whether it was the seductive force of mathematical certainty through the application of his tactics, or personal or financial problems, on December 22nd of 2017, Thomas Mixon, former SEAL, former Red Cell operator, who blended into society as a nobody personal trainer, overtook his first bank. And at approximately 1 p.m., an armed Mixon entered the branch of an IBC bank on Ranch Market. Wearing a black hat and sunglasses, he stormed the teller station, pulled out a red and gray bag, and tossed it to the teller, ordering the woman to fill it up with the money.
Why, man? Why?
Mixon then told the bank employees to count backwards from 30 before calling police, and left the bank with a take of $3,000.
Is that it? Oh, $3,000? Dude, not worth it. Not worth it.
And not even 20 minutes later, APD officers and APD's robbery response unit arrived on scene. The teller reported that she witnessed the suspect get into a dark gray pickup. She described the suspect as a white male, approximately mid-50s and about 5'11", with acne scars on his cheeks, and carrying a red and black HEB bag with a cowboy boots graphic. APD robbery detectives and FBI special agents arrived on scene shortly after and conducted their investigation. Among the money given to the suspect were several serialized bills known as bait money. The serial numbers were previously documented by the bank, and a list of the serial numbers were provided to police by bank employees.
So he couldn't even use the money.
Who were in absolute disbelief over the whole ordeal. The odds of being a victim of bank robbery are extremely low, and the odds of being a victim of bank robbery twice by the same guy, I mean, come on. Well, it happened again as Mixon hit the same branch only 2 weeks later, on January 5th of 2018. He entered the bank at approximately 12:05 p.m., pointed his weapon at the tellers, and ordered them to put the money in the bag.
Wow.
Once again, the same female teller, scared for her life,
the same
placed
woman.
$8,075 cash into Mixon's leather bag. And talk about the only easy day was yesterday, official motto of bank tellers, apparently. He then told bank employees to count backwards from 60 before getting up and calling police, and left the bank. And after police arrived, Detective Glasgow of the Austin Police Department reviewed the bank surveillance and noticed that the suspect was consistent with the same person who robbed the bank on December 22nd.
I can't believe the bank didn't put in some extra security. I mean, guys, how do you not have a security guard after getting robbed? Unbelievable.
Why the offender would rob the same place twice left Detective Glasgow with many unanswered questions. But maybe it was the fact that they'd quite literally never see it coming. And these tactics proved to be effective, as Detective Glasgow would find himself with even more unanswered questions after getting a call for yet another bank robbery, as Thomas Mixon was just getting started.
Thomas Nixon is on a rampage. I mean, dude, he is addicted to these robberies. I mean, how? Because surely he made a lot of money in his career. I don't know why. Did he develop some kind of drug habit?
His third robbery occurred on February 1st at approximately 1:15 p.m. APD responded to the Prosperity Bank located at 3401 Northland Drive. One of the tellers reported that the suspect entered the bank, pulled his sweatshirt over his head, and pulled out a gun, demanding the money. The tellers then handed over $11,730 in cash.
Police say a man wearing a hoodie and cap walked into the bank, showed a weapon around 1:15, and got away with cash. The man was last seen running south on Balcones Drive. If you have any information, you're asked to call police.
Mixon would rob the same bank only 6 days later. He entered the bank at approximately 9 a.m., gun in hand, wearing the same clothes, and pointing the same weapon at the same teller and making her fill up the same bag. with a take of $2,335.
So he robbed 2 banks
Police
twice.
investigating 2 bank robberies in the last 8 hours, including one that was also robbed less than a week ago. Just after 9
Security
this morning,
lax.
police say a man walked into the Prosperity
Very
Bank.
lax.
Authorities say he showed a handgun, got cash, and ran south on balconies. Is the same description as this man. Police say he robbed that same bank last week and ran in the same direction.
By this time, authorities were perplexed as to whether the suspect was robbing the same banks twice out of stupidity or out of a calculated playbook, and they'd soon have their answers after Mixon's final score. On February 26 at approximately 9:20 a.m., Mixon entered the Plains Capital Bank in Austin, pulled his hood over his head, drew his firearm from his waistband, and tossed his black leather briefcase onto the teller counter. He ordered the tellers to give him all the money they had, $43,698. He finally had a lucrative score, 43 G's for 5 minutes work. But inside the leather bag were 2 radioactive tracking devices, otherwise known as rats. Detective Glasgow arrived on scene and immediately knew it was the same suspect. And he learned from bank employees that there were 2 tracking devices with the money that was given to Mixon. Detective Glasgow related this information to dispatch, at which point APD Communications advised that there was an active track. Air 1 was dispatched and responded and began tracking the signal. They tracked the signal to a gray Ford F-150 pickup within the driveway of a residential Austin suburb. APD patrol officers responded to the residence and spotted what appeared to be the homeowner coincidentally exiting his residence and walking toward the pickup. They stopped the man and made contact with him. He identified himself as Thomas Mixon, at which point Detective Glasgow arrived on scene and informed Mixon that his Ford pickup might have been involved in a bank robbery. He asked Mixon for consent to search his vehicle, at which point Mixon became extremely nervous and had trouble speaking. Officers on scene and Detective Glasgow alike, knowing full well they had their guy, anxiously awaited Mixon's answer to their question. And instead of consenting to the search, Mixon requested a lawyer.
It's over. Why did you do this? I want to know his reasons for this, because surely he wasn't broke.
Mixon was placed under arrest and booked into jail for the Plains Capital Bank robbery. $34,000 in loose cash, with straps bearing the unique stamp of Plains Capital Bank, were recovered from within Mixon's vehicle. Detective Glasgow obtained and executed a search warrant on Mixon's residence and recovered a variety of items, including a red and gray HEB grocery bag with a cowboy boots graphic, the type of bag used during his first robbery. He then obtained arrest warrants charging Mixon for all 5 bank robberies and placing him on $100,000 bonds for each charge.
Austin police have arrested a man they say robbed 3 banks, a total of...
I wonder what kind of time he got for this. 10 years, 15, something like that?
5 times.
On January 15th, 2019, Mixon was indicted on 5 federal counts of bank robbery and pleaded guilty to all 5 counts on April 17th of that year. On September 6th, Mixon was sentenced to serve 97 months in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Once released,
8 years.
Mixon will serve an additional 5 years of supervised release and pay $25,943 in restitutions. After all of that success, the accomplishment of earning his trident, the lucrative security work over the years, and a successful personal training business, why a guy who seemingly had it all would make an abrupt turn to bank robbery is a mystery in itself. A mystery which only Thomas Mixon has the answers to.
Damn, I really want to know why he did
Hey guys,
this.
if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe
I
button.
just want to know why. Why did you do that? Like, because surely, you know, after leaving the Navy SEALs, you get some kind of pension or monthly payment, I would imagine. Why did you throw it all away? Because you were going to get caught eventually. He was doing 5 robberies. He did 5 in a month. If he continued, he was always getting caught. Always going to get caught. Was it for the thrill? Like, did he miss sort of being an active Navy SEAL and he wanted to kind of replicate that adrenaline as a civilian? I'm guessing that probably is it. Like, I don't think it was for the money, really. Like, maybe it was. Maybe it was. What do you guys think? Crazy story. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.